Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Summer School. Today on the pod, we are going to be talking about what I wish I knew to shoot my first wedding, or what I feel like you should know to shoot yours. So whether it's your first, whether you've been doing it for a long time, maybe you'll find this really valuable. If it's one of your first weddings or you're a beginner tuning in, then this is for you. I have notes, so we're going to read down what I think you should know to shoot your first wedding. And obviously there's so much to know. You can pop in Summer School, our paid community, for only $40 a month. You can ask me literally anything you want to know at any time, literally ever, inside of that platform. So if you want to know more than this, tune in there. And there will be an announcement of a little freebie that's going in there in August in the middle of this episode. So stay tuned to hear about what that is. So to start us off, I'm going to give some life updates, and then we'll dive into this list that I ended up writing, which is fun because I don't normally have like scripts or a super set agenda for podcast episodes. So this will be a really good time to have, this is what I wish I knew. But to start us off, I just got back from vacation. I'm wearing a little Summer School shirt, it feels like, because if you know anything about the brand, it's like yellow, blue, green, kind of fun academic colors. So that's really fun. Feel like a little referee for school. Some of our Summer School students, whatever you want to call everyone, that are a part of the community, some of them met up last week. So that was so fun to watch. We had Carrie, Gabe, and Brooklyn all hanging out in Southern Oregon. The friendships that people have made from this community have been so cool. And I just can't believe that I'm a part of creating like lifelong friendships and business relationships. That's just such a dream come true of mine, and it's been so fun to see all of you having such a good time together. Gabe and Brooklyn, and Carrie, literally all of them were coaching students. Gabe, and I'm trying to remember all this off the top of my head, but Brooklyn was also a mentee. Gabe completed 2 rounds of coaching, but now they're all members in Summer School, the community. I don't do coach anymore. Everything is done inside of Summer School, and instead of paying like $3,000, you can get it for $40 a month, which is crazy. And then 2 of them, Brooklyn and Gabe, also came to summer camp last year. So literally the best people. I love them. I wish they had done this meetup in LA so I could have hung out too. But then after that, Carrie met up with another student named Lorraine. Shout out to literally all of these people. And they shot a wedding together. So not only is Summer School a community where people are meeting, connecting, and growing, they're also literally getting work together. So that's freaking amazing. My vacation updates, if you want to know, vacation was incredible. It was so much fun. It was vacation after a wedding. So if I were to change anything, maybe next year I would just go on vacation. Maybe I wouldn't do it with a wedding, but it was fun that I was already going to be in town and this wedding popped up I really wanted to shoot. So I ended up taking it. That was a blast. The vacation was so fun, but I wish we had a couple more days there. That would have really been, the cherry on top would be, we should have stayed longer, but it was hard to know with a baby if we would want to stay that long. So hindsight 22, Georgia is my baby's name if you don't know. And she is a little ball of awesomeness and travels pretty well, has been sleeping like a boss, literally slept from 7:30 to 10 a.m. the other day. So yeah, we could have definitely done vacation longer, but I heard so many horror stories from so many moms about traveling and babies not sleeping that we decided to not vacation as long as we would have hoped. So yeah, life update for me is I honestly just wish I vacationed longer. But on the business side of things, we have new Summer School classes launching in 3 days. So go ahead and tune in. And when I say classes, I mean inside of the community. Go ahead and click the link down in the description or show notes, wherever you are. So yeah, we have 2 new guest classes launching and then some surprise additional drops from myself. And yeah, life is good. I've been booking some weddings. I've been booking some random, smaller shoots in LA, which are a lot of fun because with a baby, it's cool to stay local. And we are wrapping up some of the busiest parts of our wedding season so that I can basically fully focus on Summer School, motherhood, Jake leaving the business, which crazy update. My husband has been working with me full time for 3 years, and he's a musician at heart. It is not his dream to work in my wedding business. So he is heading back into the music industry. I'm scaling down some, I guess, just I don't need to provide for multiple incomes. So I'm going to work a little less so I can be a little more present with our baby and be more present with all of you with education, podcasts, YouTubing, all of this sorts of things. So that was way longer than I intended, but that is the life updates. Let's dive into what I wish I knew when I was shooting my first wedding and what I think you should know to be ready to shoot your first wedding. So step 1, these aren't even written in numbers or steps, but number 1, have extra gear. If you're in the place to have duplicates of everything, I actually think that's also a good idea. So what that would look like is, say you have your main camera, say it's a decent camera. We're talking first wedding, so I'm not telling you need to have the world's best camera. Definitely maybe have like a DSLR mirrorless camera. If feasible, you don't need the world's best camera to start in weddings. So say you have the one camera, I would like you to have a backup. And even if you have to rent that camera, rentals really aren't that expensive. Rentals are slept on. If you live anywhere near a big city, you can normally find rentals. So I think have a backup of some kind. Even if it's not as good as your main camera, if something happens to your main camera, you drop it, it breaks, the shutter breaks. I've had a film camera shutter like break on it, like just sitting on the shelf, like nothing happened to it. The shutter just stopped working. So things can happen. We actually always have a backup of our film cameras, not of every single camera, but I have like 5 cameras, film cameras alone that I bring to weddings. And my main film camera, the Contax G2, we have a backup G1 that I use for my personal life. And then I also bring it to every wedding just in case something were to happen to my G2, which literally at an engagement session the other week, I was getting used to the spider holster and I forgot to lock my camera. And then I demoed a pose I wanted them to do, which was like running around, and my Contax took flight. And I have the black Contax G2. So this is not a cheap setup, and the black one cost extra literally only because it's black. So yeah, it would be hard to replace. I was terrified. It landed in sand, which is not good, like hard sand, like a solid ground that was rocky and sandy. It was not good, but camera ended up working. I had a backup. So I shot on the backup and the film ended up turning out great and literally nothing happened. So that's wonderful. Titanium cameras are your friend. So, but anyways, something could have definitely happened. It's a film camera. It's old. I had a backup, and that is important. You never know what's going to happen at your sessions or at your shoots, at your wedding. Someone can spill something on you. You can bump into a wall. You never know. It's a good idea to have a backup. Speaking on backups, you also should have a backup memory card slot. So what I'm saying is a lot of cameras, especially more pro, have 2 memory card slots in the cameras. I know some people will shoot with only 1 memory card slot, but personally, that's terrifying. This is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. You cannot get it back if something were to happen, and you are not going to know if something's happening in that memory card, most likely until you are reading it on your computer after the wedding has happened. And people always ask, well, have you ever actually had something happen? Yes, once. And it was in the beginning of my career, and it was not a wedding. Praise the Lord. But I did have a memory card corrupt doing a senior session when I was younger. All of the photos were like half written gray, but on the camera, perfect. On the memory card, I don't know what happened. I sent it off to a specialist. They could not recover a thing. I had to redo the shoot. Say that happened on a wedding day. This person's once-in-a-lifetime experience, you cannot get back. Literally impossible. You cannot redo a wedding. Can't just redo it like it was a senior shoot. So you should have a camera with dual memory card slots. And when you take the photos, you write to both of the cards. You don't just, if you put memory cards in, but you don't enable the settings to write to both of them, it's not going to write to both of them. So make sure that you actually click that the photos will copy to both memory cards, and I copy RAWs to both. I know some people that just copy like a JPEG to one because they don't want to take up the storage, and what are the odds it's going to corrupt? Well, if it did corrupt, you're stuck with editing JPEG photos, and that would suck. So why not just copy RAWs to both? I see no reason in not doing that. So do-rahs to both cards. Up next, my go-to settings I would suggest to a beginner. And the reason I came up with this for this episode was because I trained my husband how to second shoot with me in one night at our old apartment. Basically, I told him certain settings I wanted him to adhere to, and if he adhered to those, in my opinion, the photos would have been easily usable enough for me to edit with them and use them. And I didn't need him to be artsy or creative, and I didn't need perfect shots. I just needed good enough because he was in training. So these were my go-to settings I told him. And I know this because I literally just asked him, and he was like, you should tell them the settings you told me. So the first thing I told him was try not to go over an ISO of 1600. This could be controversial because maybe a lot of people are willing to bump that ISO up. They don't want to use flash. They're willing to go to like 6400 and use denoise. I'm saying if it's your first time shooting a wedding, I would try not to go too high with your ISO unless you have to. But I'm also going to suggest at the end that you should bring a flash of some kind. So first wedding, try not to go over an ISO of 1600. Try not to go below a shutter speed of 1/250. And then also try not to go below an f-stop of f2 or above. I honestly don't care what he goes above, but probably when I was teaching him, I probably said also maybe don't go above like f8. So because that would mess with the other settings. So stay between f2, maybe an f5. Stay above a shutter speed of 1/250. So we're talking 1/300, 1/2000, 1/1000, and try not to go below 1600. I mean above an ISO of 1600. So the reason try not to go above is the higher an ISO you go, the more grain you are going to retain. To not go below 1/250, while people can shoot below 1/250 and get artsy photos, motion blurs, all those sorts of things, if it is your first wedding, I do not think you should try worrying about that kind of stuff. So try not to go below 1/250 or it will get blurry potentially. I know people that take portraits at 1/125, but you have to hold still. And to me, you need to be used to that. So I would say 1/250, dead cut off. Don't go below it. If anything, stop yourself at 1/300 and you will make sure that your images are sharp, they are in focus, and they are not blurry of any kind. Also, not to go below an f-stop of f2. I feel like a lot of people would say, but Summer, I got this great prime lens and it goes down to 1.2. Well, unfortunately for the average person, if you're trying to shoot a wedding, which is going to have a lot of people, not unfortunately, no, literally just for the average person, if you're shooting a wedding with multiple people and it's your first wedding, you're a beginner or even your experience, but you love going down to 1.2, 1.2 can be beautiful. Artsy shots, creative things, good bokeh. But at the end of the day, I always suggest not to go below f2, sometimes not to go below 2.8 because you are normally shooting more than one subject. And for most cameras and lenses, when you're shooting all the way down at like 1.2, you're getting like a nose in focus or a right eyeball. You are not getting the person in focus. So take that into account. Good glass is going to be better even if you're not shooting it that low. So say you have a 50 1.8 and a 50 1.2, that 1.2 is still going to perform so good at 1.8. Just because you spent a lot on it being a 1.2 does not mean that you need to shoot it at 1.2. One of my biggest pet peeves in my life, honestly, is when people shoot wide open at events, weddings, anything with multiple people. Oh, in the beginning of my career, I'd have second shooters shoot with me, and I'd be like, can you please don't shoot the whole thing at like 1.2. And one wedding, I got back like every photo at 1.2. They're like distorted. The people are half in focus. And I'm like, we talked about this. Why are you doing this? So if you are a beginner, take that advice from me. There's no reason when you're first starting to shoot that wide open, in my opinion. Just play it safe. Shoot between f2 and f5.6. If you're doing a family shot, probably above f3.5, and you're good. Follow those 3 rules, and you're good. Your photos are going to be good enough. That's all I got to say. Okay, next, because if I don't keep going, we are never going to finish. Up next, communication is key. If this is your first, or you're just listening to this to revamp and hear what I have to say about if I was starting over again, communication is key. Don't be shy. Don't be worried about asking them what they want. Ask them as many things as you would like to ask them. I love getting on Zoom calls with my clients, phone calls. Some people love sending questionnaires. I don't feel like every client is one shape fits all for me, so I don't currently send questionnaires, but I have really good talking communication with my clientele. So I love talking to my clients. I love getting to know them, and I'm willing to talk to them as much as they are willing to talk to me. And it's important because the more you know someone, the better you're going to shoot their wedding day. If you don't know someone, doesn't mean you're going to do bad at shooting their wedding day, but when you know them, their story, what their vibe is, you're going to capture it so much more authentically to who they are. So communication is key. Communicate with your clients. Don't be shy. Email them. Ask them to hop on a call. Get to know them. Because when you get to know your clients, your photos are going to be that much better than someone that has no idea who they're shooting and they're just showing up to get a job done. I just don't think that's what you should be doing if you want to be a wedding photographer. Up next with communication is timelines. Like, a good timeline is key. And knowing what a good timeline is and how it should run is going to be hard if this is one of your first weddings. So I just want to let you know, this is what I teased in the beginning, that I will be announcing something that's dropping in August inside of Summer School Membership. I will be dropping a freebie of example timelines for everyone. Example timelines that have been used in my real weddings for what works for my style. And honestly, it should work for most weddings because a lot of weddings are very similar. So I'm going to pull different timelines from different years throughout my career, what I was doing, why I was doing it, how long, and I'm going to release that inside of Summer School. So if you want to know what a good timeline looks like, you can head over there and download it. But for now, I just need to let you know that a good timeline is absolutely essential. Talk to your couple, plan out your shots, know how much time it's going to take you. And in the beginning, if you're scared that you're not going to know how much time it's going to take you, second shoot with someone. Maybe you can assist someone. I'm currently not looking for second shooters, but I would probably take an assistant. If someone wanted to come and not shoot, help carry bags, help load film, help get BTS for me, I would let someone assist. So if you just need to know what a wedding day feels like, go get that experience or watch BTS on YouTube of other people shooting weddings. Join something like Summer School to get the inside scoop on what people are doing and how they're navigating their wedding days. But once you're in a place in your career like me, it'll be literally back of brain. Most things will take you about the same amount of time. I know how long family photos is going to take me. I know how long wedding photos are going to take me. Every single wedding. I know how long I need for portraits. It's not too complicated, but know a good timeline and help them structure it. Because if you're just running around, I get a wedding can be documentary and you can document a wedding because yes, it's happening. But in the beginning of your career, it is so much easier for you to have a solid timeline. And in the beginning of your career, you're probably not working with a planner. You're probably doing more of a DIY wedding. So if that is the case, you should help your client with the timeline. You are the professional. You know how long the photos are going to take. If the client is like, yeah, sure, so like 5 minutes for family photos, you step in, intervene, and say, no, actually, I need 20 to 30. And I need, which leads us to our next part, a family photo list. So I make all of my clients give me family photo lists. I don't require shot lists. I do say that if they have any direct inspo or a Pinterest board, that I would love to see it. I don't mind seeing inspo at all. I know some people are like, no, I don't want inspo. I'm an artist. Tell me who you are. Show me who you are. I would love to know that with clients of mine. If they send me inspo that's super like edgy and not super smiley, I'm going to lean way more into that. So I am very pro. Send me a mood board. Send me inspo. I'm here for it. And I think you should be too. I don't think you need to ask for a shot list. I think that can make you kind of stressed and creatively limited on a wedding day, but definitely ask for maybe a mood board or some inspiration they have. That way you can understand what their photo wants really are. Outside of that, ask for that family photo list. So how I do that is I require that my clients send me the family photo list at least a month prior to the wedding, because you do not want to be asking anything of them like a week before their wedding. They are about to have one of the biggest days of their entire life. the last thing you want to do when it comes down to client communication and the experience you're giving them is stress them out a week before their wedding. Ask for all these things ahead of time. I asked for my family photo list and contractually say that they should be sent out a month prior to the wedding. That way, the month leading up to their wedding, if we're talking, it is their choice, not mine. I am not bothering them. I'm not pestering them. I'm not making them stressed out unless they need me. And if they need me, I'm there. But family photo lists, I always ask that they get sent over a month before their wedding. That way, if I see anything that maybe should be tweaked, or I feel like, oh, let's move this photo to the top, I can help guide them with their family photo list. And I'm not at all messing with the client experience of being their wedding photographer. I'm giving them a top tier experience. So I asked for it a month before, and I guide them by saying, hey, so this partner, can you start with your largest and then peel down? And then can we start with the other partner's largest group combos and we'll peel down? And then I also, little tip trick for you, I always ask that if there are any family dynamics I should be aware of, that they let me know. You need to ask this. If you don't ask it, it will bite you in the butt from prior experience. So in the beginning of my career, I did not ask for family dynamics, and I ended up putting a mom and dad who were divorced and not cordial right next to each other. Little did I know, the couple didn't tell me. Maybe they just assumed I'd know. I don't know, but I'm like, hey, mom, dad, can you get a little closer? He was standing so awkwardly away from her, and I just thought it was who he is, He looks at me, and we're like, it's such a special day. And I can never make this sound like how it felt on the wedding day, but it was so uncomfortable. He looks at me and he's like, hell no. It's this happy old man. And I was like, oh, okay. What is going on? I had no idea these people were divorced and hated each other. So anyways, just moral of the story, you don't want something like that happening on your wedding day. It didn't sound that crazy when I said it right now, but it was not a good experience for anyone. I don't want a couple to be put in that position on their wedding day that their parents are unhappy with each other because of something I did that I could have avoided. So ask for family dynamics. A lot of people in the world do have interesting family dynamics, people that might not get along, divorces. So I don't even say, is anyone divorced? I just say, do you have any family dynamics I should be aware of? When you send over the family photo list, can you send this either above or below the list and tell me what I should be aware of? On the day of the wedding, I will know this and I will know to position people accordingly, but I won't make it aware to anyone that I know this information. So just a little sleuth who knows these things. And I even suggest, say your parents are separated, but they're cordial. They've been separated for a long time. We can put mom on one side of you, dad on the other, and I will tell them to do that. And you don't even have to worry about them being uncomfortable trying to stand next to each other because the photographer said to. I will explicitly put them not next to each other. But I need to know to do that. So ask for a family photo list, ask for family dynamics. It's a good thing to do. Outside of that, post-wedding, obviously, oh my gosh, we could get into so many more things about a wedding day that you should be aware of and know to do and all these sorts of things. But these are the essentials that I think you should know. And I only have one more thing I'm going to say. Well, I have some bonus tips I might share with you too. I guess I will. But the last thing that I think you should know if you're shooting your first wedding is that you need to back up your photos immediately. Immediately. Do not leave them on the memory card. It's not safe. The amount of times I've had a memory card chilling in our memory card container and I put it in my camera and it is broken just from sitting around for too long. I don't know. It happens. It happens actually all the time. Back up the memory cards. When you get home or when you're in the car, normally I do it in the car, but if you're driving yourself, obviously don't do it while you're driving. That's not safe. But I'm always shooting with a team, so I'm always doing it on the ride home. Back up those things as fast as physically possible. And what I do is I back up the memory cards onto my solid state hard drives. Keyword, solid state. Way less likely to corrupt. So solid state hard drives, I have I can actually have one attached to my computer right now. I'll show it to you guys. Boop. Samsung. It's a great brand. I used to use the SanDisk. They're in a lawsuit. Don't buy them. They're cute. They look like they can go on a keychain. I loved them for so many years, and the lawsuit they're in, it happened to me. My SanDisk hard drive started actively deleting itself while it was plugged into my computer. It was crazy. But this is why we're going to get into what I'm saying right now is you back up the memory card onto a hard drive, and then I keep the photos on at least one of the 2 memory cards I wrote to in my home. I also have it on hard drive. Some people go way further than this. We have a fireproof safe and stuff like that, but some people go even further than this. I don't go any crazy further than memory card, hard drive, and then we use a server, I don't know, cloud server kind of thing called Backblaze. And what it does is it automatically backs up your photos from your hard drive anytime it's plugged in. It does take a while, so keep the hard drive plugged in if you want it to get fully backed up. But then my photos are also on a cloud. So say my home burnt down. I do have a fireproof safe. Is it going to actually survive a fire? I have no idea. But fireproof safe. Outside of that, hard drives. I normally always have the hard drive I'm actively working on kind of with me. So if I were traveling, we have the memory cards at the house. We have the hard drives on me. But say like worst case scenario, my bag got stolen with a hard drive and my home burnt down at the same time, we have Backblaze. So clients' photos are safe. You want your clients' photos to be safe because this is not a shoot you can replicate. This is literally not replicatable in any way, shape, or form. So back up your pics. If you are traveling for a wedding, back them up before you ever, I repeat, ever really go anywhere. So there was a story, I think like 2 years ago, where a wedding photographer shot a destination wedding and then boarded her flight and her bag got stolen on the plane, or I don't know how it happened. But basically, from what I understood of the story, the Pelican was in the like carry-on stuff, which is smart. You know, same with me. I don't check any of my gear. I always carry it on, so it's always with me. I can always see it. And when the people were deplaning, I guess someone grabbed her bag and ran off with it. And all of the photos from that destination wedding she shot were gone. I hate to say it, but in my opinion, that was preventable. You could have backed up the photos. You could have had a thing like Backblaze running. And outside of that, I have AirTags in all of my things that are important. When we flew to our last wedding last weekend, I had an AirTag in my Pelican. I had an AirTag in my backpack. I had an AirTag in our baby's car seat container. We had an AirTag in my purse. And I think we had one more. I own 8. So we kind of have one in everything that's important. The only thing I don't think I had an AirTag in was in our second luggage with clothes. Because I'm like, like is what it is. There are so many AirTags going. So bonus tip, buy the AirTags or something similar. I know there's another brand right now that people are really into. So buy whatever works for you and floats your boat. I live in LA, so we normally have one on my dog and on my car too, because I've been in a lot of cities where car theft is very much a possible thing that can happen. So I am the queen of AirTags, and I'm okay with admitting that. I think it's so smart. They're really not that expensive for what safety net they can guarantee you. I've had a friend be able to find his car again after it was stolen because it had an AirTag in it. So get the AirTags. Okay, some bonus tips. Here are some bonus tips that I don't think are that important, but I think they're still important. Comfortable shoes are not optional. But I also will take this back. While they're not you need to be comfortable, but at the same time, you need to look good. So we're going to talk about how you dress and your footwear, I guess. So I feel like there's so many videos going around of, oh, this is what I'm wearing on a wedding day. It's like so extravagant or colorful or white or who knows what. And it's like a photographer. If this is your first wedding, just wear like a nice black outfit with some decent shoes and you will be good. A few things I would tell you maybe not to wear if it's your first event or wedding. Blue jean. Blue jean can come off unprofessional. That just is what it is. If you don't know what the dress code is of the event you're going to, just don't wear blue jean. Like, wear black. It's really not that hard. We're all black. And if anything, you're going to look like a employee, which is what you are. So no one can be mad at you for wearing a nice black outfit. Literally no one. Now, shoes. I personally wear a pair of, what are they called? Like ballet flats, kind of Mary Jane looking shoes that I bought from Target for like $20. They are the most comfortable wedding shoe I have worn in my entire career. I have gone through wearing Blundstones. I've gone through wearing Dansko boots, which Dansko also creates nursing shoes. So I thought that was a really good option and it was comfortable. But boots do not look good for a city wedding. And I know if this is one of your first events, this is probably not a big deal that you look and dress and are wearing all the right things. But I'm not going to be wearing, when I lived in the PNW, I was wearing like Dansko boots and hiking boots and stuff like that to normal weddings because most of them were outdoors. If I'm shooting a high-end indoor wedding, I'm not wearing boots. Like, no. So these flats have been the perfect option for everything. I can wear them with a dress. I can wear them with a jumpsuit. I can wear them casually. I can wear them formally. They're just a nice pair of black flats that are very comfortable. There's another brand. They actually have a shop near where I live. I think it's called Rojas or Rojas. I have no idea. But those are also flats that I've heard are very comfortable. But maybe I need to post a link to this Target flat because I've worn it for 2 years now. It's still hanging in there. I even recommended it to a wedding planner, and she's obsessed and bought 2 pairs for her weddings. So, flats. Yeah, I'm not wearing boots to indoor weddings. I actually have gone as far as to not refer people who have dressed unprofessionally for events I've been a part of. So, yeah, if you want to play it safe, just wear all black. You don't need to go all out. Wear something you can move in. You need to be able to squat. At the end of the day, photos are the most important part. And if you're just starting, you're most likely not shooting a black tie event. So dress nice, but be comfortable and be able to move and run around as much as you can. Don't overthink it. Just be professional. Bring snacks. Bonus tip. Bring snacks and water. While you should include that you will be fed and have a break in your wedding contracts, you never know what's going to happen. And in this industry, I am not pro, I'm leaving and ditching your wedding because you didn't feed me. It's like, okay, yes, contractually, like I can. But again, we signed up to be a part of a loving business that captures, again, once in a lifetime experiences. I can survive without a full meal if it happened. It doesn't happen because it's in my contracts and I communicate about it. But I also bring snacks and I bring water. So bring the snacks. You want to be prepared for any what-if scenario. Just be prepared. Sometimes, like even in today's day and age, I had a wedding this year where there unfortunately was not time for me to eat. Even after communicating about it, even after talking to the wedding planner, even after telling the couple I need to eat and I also need to pump, I have a child. It was not possible. It was literally just not possible within the timeline. And some wedding vendors would be like, well, I'm leaving and I'm going to leave and go eat because I'm entitled to do that. Sure, you are entitled to do that. But we also are in a service-based industry where for you to suck it up and just shoot the gig and have packed some of your own snacks and move on with your day, that is going to do you so much better than pitching a fit and leaving the event. So pack some snacks, give grace. It's not like people are out here intentionally trying to hurt you or not feed you. Things happen. Be prepared. Okay, on the topic of being prepared, bonus tip number 3, I think, is have a plan for darkness. Weddings are normally full-day events. Sometimes you are shooting in the dark more than you are shooting in the light, depending on the season that you're shooting them in. So be prepared. If you have the means, bring at least 2 flashes because I do feel like flashes break very easily. But On the note of flash, get an easy flash, get a simple flash. If you need one that doesn't break the bank too much, the Godox like V series are pretty bomb from what I've heard for what they do. I have a Profoto A10 that is my main flash on a wedding, but I also have the Godox Luxmaster, which is the one I kind of hold off camera, which is really fun. It doesn't need to be that complicated. When you're first starting, feel free to put it in TTL, let it kind of shoot in auto mode, and yeah, have a flash. You're going to need it. If you don't have the means to have a flash or you're scared, you also could do things like a video light. We normally have some sort of constant light and some sort of flash at every event we do. So now we carry the Godox ML60BI lights to weddings. They're small enough that and lightweight enough we can easily toss one in a suitcase, bring it with us if we're traveling, but it's a good constant light. And I do feel like while flash is cool and it's a vibe, having a constant light setup really captures the ambient essence of what was really happening. So again, if we're saying this is for someone with their first wedding, you do not need to have a flash and a pro light, but you could get a little hot shoe video light and do good enough to shoot your first wedding. So whether it's a flash or a video light, have some sort of way to work in darkness, because darkness will come. It will happen. Okay. Lastly, which we kind of talked on attire, is know your brand and who you want to actually attract and run with that. When you're shooting one of your first gigs, if it doesn't align with you, you don't have to post it. You don't have to share it. You don't have to put it on your website. You can, but you need to start attracting the people you actually want to work with. And I know when we're all first starting out, we might not know what that brand is, but as you start figuring that out, start prioritizing that within your marketing, within how you show up to weddings, within how you shoot the weddings, within how you communicate with your clients. Know your brand, who you want to attract, and know that from day one. Don't shoot a wedding without knowing that. Figure that out. Dig deep within yourself. Figure out where you want to go in the industry. And it's okay for that to evolve, but you at least need to have some sort of mindset around what that's going to be before you start diving into all this work with no guiding path along the way. Have that path, have that set, figure out your brand, and you are good to go. So excited for y'all to go shoot some of your first weddings. Comment if you have any more questions on wedding, things that you'd like to know, or maybe something I said that sparked something that you had a question about. If you're listening to this on YouTube, go ahead and comment it. If you're on Spotify, head over to my Instagram. Feel free to engage with me there. And I will see all of you next week. If you want the free timelines, pop into Summer School, the community. It is such a blast over there. $40 a month, live calls, guest workshops, live panel discussions, freebies. My pricing guide is for free in there if you want a template for how to price yourself and send it to clients. It is honestly such a cool space, and it's been so fun to grow over these past almost 6 months now, which is crazy. And lastly, if you enjoyed this episode, share it with a friend, drop a review. I will catch y'all next week. We have some really cool guests on for the podcast coming up, and I'm not going to say who they are yet, but they're really freaking cool, and I'm so stoked to have them on. So stay tuned. It's about to get crazy. Bye, guys.